So,
So
I was
everything
talking
that you
about
can
this the
say
other
bad.
day. I think that men stay in very toxic situations longer than they're supposed to. I absolutely concede to that point. And I don't think I think that men break up, but they break up in a different way. I think that men will physically stay in a relationship, but they will emotionally, physically check out. They will begin to act out. Maybe they will begin to see somebody else, or maybe they will become more emotionally disconnected or unavailable. There are other things, there are other ways to break up with someone besides physically packing your bag and leaving out the door. I just think that women actually say enough is enough and we physically pull the trigger. But I think a lot of men physically stay in
Don't speak for
situations
me.
longer than they need to. I don't know if it's to protect the woman's feelings or
You can
they trying
ask.
to avoid the
You can ask, but don't
confrontation. No,
assume.
no, no.
So
I'm just throwing out my things, and I would love to hear what y'all have to say about it. But I think that men definitely physically stay in situations, but they emotionally check out all the time, and you can see it in their behavior.
Yeah. So I
Well,
think
we have to understand that if a man does emotionally check out, it's for his own sanity. Period.
yeah.
Like sometimes you have to. He understands the duty, and he doesn't want to abandon his family.
Yep.
But him engaging with that particular person is probably the worst thing for him to ever do. So it's a lot easier for him to check out
Yeah.
because it's no good for the children. It's no good for his sanity, and he won't be able to continue to with his duties otherwise.
and if he's
Some people
staying there for
and
sex,
he also realizes you can't reason with unreasonable people.
uh,
So if a man checks out, you were probably hella unreasonable.
Yeah.
if he's staying there, and you sleeping, you submitting your body to other men, and he's staying there because he lacks self respect. He lacks self respect. That's one of the options. The other options is you weighing the pros and the cons of him leaving with his finances and alimony and all these other stuff tied into it. But most definitely a lack of self respect or a lack of confidence that he can actually do better, restart his life with somebody else and build something else somewhere. What's up, Kenny, man? You pulled up, man. I hope I'm gonna use this my little time right here to try to open up opportunity for you to get in there because it seems like you've been
Let me
waiting
just say
patiently.
this about the married thing, man. What you described, DJ, is a marriage. Men
And
He could
then
care
emotionally
and then
check
less.
out.
Trigger Mike just fucked up the whole
My
invitation.
Yeah,
bad.
he could care less.
Shut up, kid. God, just be
My
waiting.
presence,
Let me just
my
say. Let me say
presence,
this.
my presence just it makes your
My
spine
bad,
get
man.
running.
My bad. My bad. Let me say this about the marriage thing. I got to peace out, and I'm gonna listen to y'all. What you described was a marriage. So when we say men don't leave, my parents are married. I saw all the hills and valleys in their marriage. That emotionally check out thing, that's real. That you said. It happens. And my dad still stayed. I don't know who I would be if he didn't. So I this is what I see growing up. And I think we saw the most of it. Like millennials, we saw a lot of divorced parents. All of those kids have behavioral issues. Most of those kids have behavioral issues, depression. A lot of them blame themselves for the divorce, even though they had nothing to do with it. I'm never doing that shit to my children. That's a deal that I made with myself. Right. So I think dudes stay because we're just more practical. Am I gonna stay through this valley with this woman? Because all I'm gonna do is get with another woman, go through another honeymoon phase, and then she gonna end up doing the same shit this woman was doing. That's usually what happens. But I have fun, y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. I'm out of here.
Damn, you ain't gonna listen to Kenny first point or something?
You could run.
Oh, is it for
I'm not.
me?
I'm not. I'm not gonna get on you, so you ain't got to skip out of here.
Man, you can't beat
You know
me.
I got
Come
work
on,
for
man.
you.
You put us in the middle, man. This shiny hair motherfucker think he can take me up. Come on, man. Come on. Put us in the middle,
Pause.
man.
You
Ain't
understand?
no
I'm
fault.
not. You know how it's funny how life work. Y'all just it was like a 5-on-1, 6-on-1 regarding having just civil discourse regarding Democratic views and Republican views. You got one that's Bible thumping. I don't know who the sister is, but I guess she's sitting next to 7 foot. Hey Marcus, how you doing, sir? Yeah, how you doing? DJ So Lovely. Our paths cross again. Are we keeping our truths? Okay. So when we speak about what we speak of, you guys are correct because you guys are foundational men, nuclear families. So when those discussions are being spoken on, I have to step back and respect it because you all are successful in some way, shape, or form. And you can't fight it if you're a single woman up here and you don't have the resume to show. You can take teaching or you can fight it. Good, bad, or indifferent. Some women just like the spoonful of honey. When they're getting a spoonful of bitters, it takes them looking in the mirror to say, you know what? Maybe these men are right. I just don't want to humble myself now. That's, you may not have to be a biblical woman, but you got to stand on something. Like me, I'm 52. I have no kids. 2 abortions passed. You realize how quickly life be lifing. A lot of bad decisions raised by a single mother. Victim of DV, mental and physical abuse. You realize how much that affects you as being a man. So when you hear men talk, despite how much I knock heads with them, I give them their props, but I still challenge their points because they're successful at that thing that we're speaking of. When they try to hold you to task and you wish to push away from it, this is an open panel. It's not dogpiling. It's holding you in front of the congregation like most of us do. Good, bad, or indifferent. As loud as you yell, that should be as loud as you confess. And that's all due respect. And I'm not calling no names because that's part of, what was established. That doesn't mean you're not aspirationally good and you can't get to that point. A man accused me of yelling at cars. If we change shoes, you've been actually doing that same thing for the majority of the night with no recourse. I want you to information given to you by married men. If you know some poke, you're allowed to have your boundaries and your requirements. But no man up here means to be malicious or try to take away your right to be a woman. I think that's the greatest challenge that you have. That you feel someone is trying to subjugate you. As for the other topics that long past, and I just wanted to touch on that right quick without making the conversation too long and let the other brothers chime in. But I'm here now. So don't run, Trigger. You should be taking your victory lap now.
So
Busting
basically, you just
one
told
of
us you
your
here
biggest
to
guns in the
Hold
air.
on, I've been waiting.
DJ.
Can I say real quick? Because I've been holding this point. When we talk about community, I live in the Austin community on the west side of Chicago, and we are a community regardless of what family structure looks like. So I grew up with 2 college educated parents in the Austin community. But the people next to me, they live with their grandma, and they were a family too. We were our family. We got the Jones, the Smith family, the Washington family. Everybody's family is a family. I think that we got to stop qualifying people's families. Because if, like for me, I'm very, 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 very pro-life. And the reason that we get into these situations where people want to terminate is because of shame. Okay. And that shame comes from them knowing that people are going to disqualify their families because they're not married, because they're too young, because they don't have this money. A mama, a daddy, a baby, that's a family. That's the goal that we shoot for, okay, in the society. But a mama and a baby, that's a family. A daddy and a baby, that's a family. A grandma and a grandchild, that's a family. An auntie and a niece, that's a family. All families matter in this community. But if you sit up and you say that the only valuable families in the community are these nuclear families, then it just diminishes everybody else. And then they don't feel like it's a part of the community. And then the community fall apart. It's a whole lot of Black folks over here on the west side of Chicago thriving as a community. We love it over here. We love it. That's why we go so hard. If y'all ever seen our little city hall meetings that we go to, it's ours. So I think that we have to just value all families the same way. If she wants to leave her man to live a better quality of life, that's her business. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what she went through. No woman wants to raise a child by themselves. When we give birth to that baby, the goal is not to be a single mama. But I will also say that if these men were helping the women, no woman want to go to the aid office. Why would I want to go to the aid office if my man got the money that I was going to get off the food stamps? But if he had it to give it to me, I wouldn't be up there. So I think that we have to stop looking at the fact that the Black women are creating these families and sustaining them however they want to, because at the end of the day, nobody want to go sit in the aid office all day. Don't nobody want to go through none of that stuff. If your man able to do that, you avoid all of that. So please, please, please think more about what the Black man has to do with this, because when they first instituted welfare for Black folks, there were no camps of homeless Black men across America. They weren't like, these are the abandoned Black, the abandoned Negro fathers of America in Time magazine. No, they were not outside. They just wasn't with their people because they abdicated the responsibility of taking care of their family to the U.S. government. And a man who is not doing that, they wife ain't getting no stamps, no aid, no link, no medical card, because he didn't abdicate his responsibility. So stop putting it on the women and look at the fact that these men being comfortable letting the U.S. government take care of their families.
Wait,
come on now.
I'm just saying, weren't a lot of Black men returning from war at that time?
They were, yes, they were during the
So
draft.
a lot of them, some of them were actually homeless.
So
Financially destitute.
So let me put it in a different context, because when the Chicago Housing Authority told my family to move out of Rockwell Gardens, that was the best thing that ever happened to us in our lives. Because when my grandparents were staying there, they said, okay, y'all can't stay here. Y'all got 2 able-bodied people. And you know what my people did? They moved. You understand? They got more money. They got a different shift. They went and got an apartment. And now I live in a building that they bought 50 years ago. But if CHA didn't put that light up under them, we would have still been there. So what I'm saying is the men who wanted to stay, stayed. I grew up on a block full of old men who stayed with their families after they got put out the projects. So we got to stop saying that these Black women chose to be single mothers for government assistance. If they man was able to do it, they never would have had it. And we got examples of that all over my hood.
Well, I'll tell you, I've never said that they did it solely for government assistance. I actually say they did it for control. I think control over the family and making the man optional is far more attractive than government assistance.